There you go, Miss Darlene. Take it away.
All right, great. So a couple of things before we get started tonight. So if you haven't guessed, we are going to have a little bit of fun on this training tonight because let me tell you one thing, even though we are medical professionals here, the one thing that the three of us have in common is we really, really hate it when doctors get up and talk and they're like, rah, 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 rah. That's not going to happen. So if that's what you were expecting, just get off right now, okay? Because that's not going to happen. So there you go. I left my white coat out of there. So anyway, number one. Number two, I hope you have a pen and paper because you are going to get so many tips today, all right? You are going to get tips that you can do with things that are already in your house. And then you are going to get some other tips too. So you are going to just be full of information today. So I hope you are ready to write this stuff down, okay? So we can go ahead and get started with the slides. So, all right, so there we go. All right, so we're going to formally introduce ourselves, but let me just introduce myself briefly. I am Dr. Darlene Mayo. I am a neurosurgeon and neuroscientist. We have Lori Spilker on, who is a PA extraordinaire, and we have holistic life and health coach, Trish Muehlstein, who is going to be talking to you today. We are all going to be sharing some information with you, and we definitely want this to be interactive, just like Trish said. So please, at any point, do not wait for the Q&A slide. It is at the end. So ask questions all the way through. All right, here's what we want to teach you guys, how to triple your energy in 5 minutes a day or less. And I know you think that sounds crazy, but who honestly has time to spend an hour a day trying to learn how to do this, right? If you had an extra hour a day, you would have energy and you would not have this problem. So we are going to teach you how to do this in a short period of time with very simple techniques that you can apply starting today. All right, here's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn about what are the usual approaches to increasing your energy. You are going to learn about why those things will never work. And then you are going to learn about a system approach, right, that is going to help you to 3x your energy. All right. Very specific tips today. So you got a little, if you were in the Facebook Messenger chat, you got a little bit of a preview of some of those. All right. And for those of you that stay to the end, we want to reward you, right? So you are going to get a bonus. You are going to get some bonus videos. I'm not telling you what they are yet, but you are going to love, love, love them. And they are going to help you out. So I pulled together some images of things that I thought people maybe could relate to. My house, yes, has looked like this before, okay? I do have 2 small children, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and a husband. And yes, I have asked him for a chocolate IV before this has happened. This is a real life scenario, even though it looks like a cartoon. Have you also ever felt like you needed to be wound up at the end of the day because you are now unwound, right? So, and I love this lady in this picture, clearly from the 1950s, where she's got her full makeup on, sleeping and super happy, dreaming about that her house is perfect and all the laundry is done. Who here can relate to any of this? Just raise your hand and wave at us, okay? So, all right. Now, what do people normally do for this? All right. These are all things. I'm not going to tell you which ones I've done and haven't, but we've all 3 of us had some combination of using all of these things to increase our energy, right? Starbucks, let me just give you an example. I used to spend a minimum of $200 a month at Starbucks. Ooh. That is insane, right? I mean, that's a lot of lattes right there. And I was like always like wired for a very short period of time, but you know what happens after that, right? Red Bull, I'll tell you a story about that when I get to my story. No-dos, yes, I used that when I was in medical school. We've used all of these things. Do they work is the question. So I used to feel like, Yes, coffee. It makes me feel like Cinderella and all is well and good and I feel fantastic. But actually, I was experiencing Walt Disney, but in a different way. I was with this little like magical fawn over here who was made up and would start to imagine things and know that I am about to crash when I would see this little guy. I'd like to tell you that I really didn't see something like this, but I actually did. That was how much caffeine I had. It was absolutely insane. So I don't know if you guys can relate to that or not. Let us know. Drop something in the comment box. So why do these things not work, right? We have other things too that claim they are going to improve your energy, right? The keto diet, the grapefruit diet. I mean, this is Dr. Axe on the internet telling you that the grapefruit diet is going to sustainably increase your energy, right? These are quick fixes. These are fad diets. These are gimmicks, and they are not going to work on a sustainable basis. All right. So here's what we need is we really need what is, Cindy's asking a question. Will we talk about the keto diet? We can answer any questions you have about the keto diet. We would be delighted to do that, Cindy. So ask away. But we are going to share with you today a system approach, and I'm going to emphasize this over and over. Lori is going to emphasize this over and over, as is Trish, okay? This has to be a system approach. But let me say something about this. Not every system approach is the right system. When you research on the internet, because I did this too, right? And you see all kinds of stuff about what we need to do. And Trish, if you want to go on to that next slide, people like try to radically change their diet, right? There's all kinds of diets, right? Do you know who this guy is? This is Shaun T over here. Has anybody done his program? Because I did his program and it just about killed me, okay? It was crazy. I got in good shape. I lost a lot of weight, but Lord have mercy, that was not sustainable, and I definitely don't do that anymore. Drinking gallons of water every day. And I will tell you, as a doctor, Lori will tell you this too, as will Trish, you need to drink water every day. Drinking gallons of water is not necessarily the answer if you're not drinking the right kind of water. I used to drink, this is a bottle of Perrier, I used to drink 6 of these a day. That's like 12 glasses of water, okay? I was still dehydrated with my lab test because this was not the right kind of water. These are not the solutions when you do not understand what the problem is. And this is the issue with going and looking at these things on the internet when you don't understand what the overall problem is, which we are going to share with you today. And then you know a system to make this work. All right. So these things are not sustainable. So this is not what we're going to talk about today. So we're not going to go tell you to drink 2 gallons of water and do Shaun T's exercise program or any other exercise program or give up all of your foods. Okay. That's not what this is about. You're going to hear some really good tips today. All right. So there are going to be 3 keys that we are going to teach you to triple your energy. And I'm about to say something really, really important to you. All right. So listen, write this down. Implementing only 1 or 2 of these is not going to give you significant results. All right. This is where people make mistakes all the time. And when you see what these keys are, you're going to go, oh yeah, I've done that one. Maybe I did that one too, but that one, no, I didn't. You certainly don't do them all together. Most people miss this and mess this up. So the system we're teaching you is really, really key. All right. Okay, now we are going to share our personal stories, tell you a little bit about our healthcare backgrounds, and we are also going to talk to you about our personal lives a little bit. So I'm going to hand this back over to Trish, and she is going to get us started.
So let me unmute myself. So I am Trish Muehlstein. First and foremost, I am a mother. That's all I ever wanted to be. I didn't want to be a business owner. I didn't want to actually do videos on Facebook. I was going to be satisfied my whole entire life being a stay-at-home mom and not having a career. Okay, that is what I aspired to do as a little girl. Now, where I am now and what I aspire to do is way far away, okay? Because life situations happen and we have to make changes. So first and foremost job always in my life has been to be a mom. Besides that, I am a certified health and life coach. I started my own personal training business way back when I was the personal training director at Gold's Gym first, got told I made too much money, so then went out and started my own companies, okay? So like Darlene said about fad diets and gimmicks and all that kind of stuff, I have seen every single one. I've probably participated in every single one. And I used to manage hundreds of trainers. So believe me, they were all bringing me different ideas and, oh, we're going to do this fad diet. Oh, we're going to do this fad diet. So I have been there. And one advantage to getting old, there's one advantage to getting old is that you gain wisdom and you gain knowledge and you get the experience of doing things wrong and learning from your mistakes, okay? I also own a swim school here in Orlando where we teach babies 6 months to about 8 years. I have these kids. So I will go back into that when we go further along and as why that's important. For you guys to know that I do also see all these kids on a daily basis. But where I am now is I have built a very awesome career. I get to work with all of these people. I work with hundreds of people across the world and I coach them and I educate them and teach them and train them what I have been able to do and what my clients have been able to do by following this system, you know, part of this system, the whole system that we're about to teach you guys. I have 2 doctors' offices in towns, internal medicine doctors that refer patients to me on a weekly basis because they just don't have the time to sit there and explain what's going on. So they give them to me and then I go through and explain the system and educate them. I work with several sports agents and I'm invited to speak at global corporations. But besides all that stuff, I have had my own personal health struggles. So yes, that is me in this picture. 4 pregnancies. Like I said, my number one job was having kids. So 4 pregnancies now. I didn't know that much about, you know, I worked out on a consistent basis and I always kind of watched my weight and everything. But when I was pregnant with my kids, it was like an open door for me to just eat whatever I wanted. If you could fry it and if you could put cheese on it and dip it in ranch sauce, I would eat it, okay? And hence, that's what happens. I looked at this picture like, how in the world was my stomach? And your body is such an incredible thing, right? It can stretch so big and then it can go back down. It's unbelievable. With my 4th child, I had a life-threatening DVT, which a DVT is a deep vein thrombosis, where I was put into ICU for, I believe it was 10 days, life-threatening, okay? And what that happens, it's a blood clot that forms it gets into one of your arteries that can go straight to your brain or to your lungs or to your heart. So I was at risk of throwing that clot and getting an embolism, a pulmonary, you know, in my lung, an aneurysm. Darlene, you know about this, but it was really, really serious and got pumped full of meds and had to go through a whole protocol for like 6 months of drugs to relieve that. I had painful, ugly, varicose veins. I mean, so I've gone through the struggles, okay? But on the other side, this is me after my 4th child, 2 years after having my 4th child, I decided, okay, I am going to get all this weight off. I was in the personal training field, so I knew what to do. So I know how to manipulate a body, right? I've taken my body down to 6% body fat. I shed everything off of it. Diet, exercise, stuff that really wasn't healthy for my body, I did to get to this point. But then again, I did this in 2007, and 3 years later, when I'm thinking that I'm in the best shape of my life because I looked like I was in the best shape of my life, right? And I get a blood test, and my doctor says you're pre-diabetic. And I'm like, what? How is that possible? I exercise on a constant basis. I think I eat pretty good. I mean, obviously, if you look at me, like I've got my stuff together, you know, and I was just baffled. So I started doing research and I dug into it. And one book really stood out to me. It was Wheat Belly. It's written by Dr. William Davis. He's a cardiologist. And it goes through the process of what genetically modified wheat and what wheat does to your GI system. It's very scientific, and I just engrossed into that. I cut out wheat for a whole year, and my A1C, which is what's the indicator of pre-diabetes or diabetes, it dropped in 1 year just by cutting out the wheat. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. So then I took a look at my whole entire family, and I'm not sure if this is blocked. It says down the rabbit hole. So I took a look at my whole entire family, my 4 kids, and I realized that we had all these issues that were going on in our family. We had eczema, like to the point where the baby would scratch and bleed. Like I would go get her in the morning in her crib, and there would be blood on the sheets, her scratching in the middle of the night, okay? It was awful. She had a deadly peanut allergy. My son had chronic ear infections, had 2 sets of tubes. He had speech delays. My other son had horrible cystic acne that we could not get rid of, okay? And I was trying everything. I was trying all kinds of holistic things. I was just like you on the internet, searching, and trying to piecemeal everything together. Multiple knee surgeries. My mother had quadruple bypass surgery during this time. My father had blood diseases. My teenagers had mood swings, sleep issues, rash. I had a candida overgrowth. I mean, I was like, wow, all this is going on in my one family. And I speak to about 5 to 10 different people a day. And this is the typical family. This is the typical American family, what they're dealing with. And it just doesn't have to be that way. I was totally scrambling to try to find out what in the world would work for my family. And in 2013, I was introduced to the system that we're about to teach you and show you, and everything came together. Everything, when we implemented this system in my house with the 4 kids, all of those issues started resolving. And it was unbelievable. So that is why I feel like I have a ethical response and a moral responsibility to tell people and get this system out there and teach this to other people. So that's my story. I am going to turn it over to Miss Lori Spilker. There you go. Lori, it's all yours.
Thanks. Well, my name is Lori Spilker, and I'm a physician assistant, and I've been practicing medicine for the past 25 years here in Jacksonville. My background is internal medicine. I've worked in the emergency room for a short time, and now I am currently in pain management. Now, I'm a working mom. I see 30 plus patients a day. I commute to work and back home. I spend my evening as a taxi driver, a cook, a homework monitor, and I am very hopeful to get to bed by 11 o'clock to wake up and repeat. I wait for the weekend and, just hoping I can get 1 extra hour of sleep. But, I'm at the age where my internal clock goes off and I wake up at 5:30. And I either have to go to a soccer meet, a swim meet, or a soccer tournament. So, I don't get to sleep in. It's just kind of crazy. So how many of you have to do that? I mean, that's just normal life for all of us. We all burn the candle at both ends. And that's where I was a couple years ago. So the idea of more energy is really appealing. Now, I have always thought I was healthy. I relied on 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day and multiple sodas just to make it through. but I still was always tired. I was that person who never wanted to do anything because I was too tired. I had no energy. I was content to be the couch potato, and my family makes fun of me for that now. It's just really quite comical these days. But, I never wanted to exercise because I was too tired to exercise. I just didn't want to do it. That was my excuse. But when I was introduced to this system, I had neck pain. I had bulging disc in my neck. I took prescription medication because I knew what to take. That my boss had recommended I do steroid packs, anti-inflammatories, neuropathic medicine, pain medicine, all of which I just couldn't tolerate. It made me sick, and I didn't really want to take it, and it was really hard to function taking that. I went through aggressive therapies, including chiropractic care, and I also did injective treatments. They did help somewhat, but I was still left with residual pain, which I just thought I had to live with. I wasn't a nice person. I wasn't sleeping at night. I was grumpy. I cried myself to sleep. It was just not good. So my friend saw me and recommended this system, and I said, what do I have to lose? I can try it. I'm kind of at my wit's end. And I started sleeping. That was the first thing I noticed, that my sleep pattern improved. And, I was a much nicer person after that. And then my pain started to dissipate. So, I didn't really know how the system worked. So I started to do some research on what it meant to be toxic and acidic and what sugars do to your body. See, I didn't have some traumatic accident or an injury that caused my neck to be painful, these discs to bulge. I was just inflamed and I was toxic. And, in PA school, I was taught that medicine could fix everything. So I didn't really know there were other options available for me to feel better. So when I took a look at this system and did my research, I was like, wow, they missed the boat back in PA school. Why aren't people teaching this? They don't teach us this in school. So now I am healthy and pain-free. My husband, my kids, my in-laws, my parents, all are on this system. We have noted multiple changes in our energy levels as well as our health. My husband's cholesterol dropped 52 points. My son, who is very allergic to oak pollen, it's the season these days, but he was on 3 different rounds of antibiotics from January till March. Every year he was sick. He was on anti-allergy medicine, nose spray. We did it steroids. We did it all. But he hasn't taken anything in 3 years. It's just been amazing for us. So it's a good system. I'm going to kick it back to Darlene at this point, and I will talk to you in a little bit.
All right. So now you're going to hear my story. So, which is kind of short because I spent 90% of my life doing one thing, which was either studying to be a neurosurgeon, training to be a neurosurgeon, or actually being a neurosurgeon. So that was my life up until about a year and a half ago. So, I went to school all over the place, right? I've been to Duke, I've been to Medical College of Georgia, I've been to Emory, I've been to UCLA. I worked at University of Florida, Cleveland Clinic, Mayo Clinic. I've worked in France, and pretty much all I did was work all the time. This is actually a rare picture of me in the operating room in the daytime. Most of my time I was in the operating room in the middle of the night. So talk about relying on caffeinated products, because that's all I know to do. I used to keep Red Bull in my fridge stacked up so that at 3 a.m. when I would get called in, I would grab my Red Bull, drive to the hospital, chug it down, and then put my hands in somebody's brain and try to save their life. So that was my solution to things. And here's what happened is I got very, very tired a lot of the time. Now, fast forward, and I adopted 2 children a couple of years ago. And now this is a montage from Thanksgiving a couple of years ago. this is me, yes, in my fancy dress, and you can't see my fancy heels, but cooking an entire Thanksgiving dinner for 8 people at my father's house. So funny thing is, that's not even my dress, because I was so tired when we were getting on the plane to go to my dad's house that guess whose luggage I left back in Ohio. Yeah. So got the kids' luggage, got the nanny's luggage. So here I am, like scrambling, right? And you guys, you know this, right? You do this, you do everything in your family. And here's my beautiful sister over here drinking a glass of wine. My daughter is over there on her cell phone. My nanny is in the background, clearly having finished her wine, hanging out. And I'm there doing like all of this stuff, right? And I've never shown this middle picture to anybody before, because I'm like, it is just not flattering, right? But when I thought about what my life was like, look at my face. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And my kids are like staring at this beautiful meal I've made, like, where is my mac and cheese and chicken fingers? And I'm sitting there like, just get me out of here, right? Because I was very sapped from energy and very, very stressed out. But there is happy endings to this story. So I did find this really amazing system that we're going to share with you today. And we can go forward to my testimony. So I, as a neurosurgeon, I'm very, very careful about what I promote, right? Because my medical license is on the line, as it is with any healthcare professional that's going to promote anything, right? We're all here and we have to be really sure. So I tried this system for about 6 weeks before I really said anything to anybody, because I wanted to be sure that it was sustainable, right? But here's what happened. I was sleeping through the night, which was absolutely incredible for me. I used to like have these racing thoughts all the time and worried about this and that, worried about the beeper going off, and I wouldn't be able to go to sleep even when I wasn't on call. I was able to sleep through the night. I was able to wake up with energy. I got rid of my coffee habit, which is absolutely crazy. $200 a month at Starbucks, and I got rid of my coffee habit. I would still make my coffee in the morning, but here's what would happen. It would be like the late afternoon, and I'd find it sitting out, and I wouldn't have drunk it. And I never had a caffeine headache. And I was like, oh my gosh, like people that know me are just like, that's just not even possible, right? So huge, huge difference. And we have some happy after photos that we can show you. So this was last Thanksgiving at my kids' school, still probably wearing that same dress. That's okay, but enjoying life. Vacation. This is my husband and I in Italy. When I was on vacation in the past, there were no pictures of me awake, right? I was always like asleep, on the beach somewhere, but here I'm awake, having a good time, enjoying on a boat. And there is my beautiful family there on the right side with my husband and my 2 sweet little children. So happy ending to this story. But here's one of the points that we really want to drive home. Now, yes, we are healthcare professionals here, and we have really done a lot of research into this system to be sure that it is solid. We've done all the heavy lifting for you guys, right? We've looked at the clinical studies, we've tested this out ourselves, but we're also just like you, right? We're all moms. We're all like working and raising families. And there's other people that have used this system that have the same results we do, right? This is not even my line here, this top line. I have more energy and don't need coffee anymore. I could have written that, but I didn't, right? I can't tell you how full of energy I am lately. There's other benefits to using this system too, right? This person lost 8 pounds, fit into clothes they haven't been able to fit in. There's just results after results after results. And I'm not going to read all of these to you, but just to show you that there's many, many people over and over and over again that have used the system that have incredible results. This person on top has sleep issues for years, has the energy of a 30-year-old and sleeps like a baby, right? So, I mean, when we see small children running around on a playground, a lot of times people say, wow, I wish I could bottle that energy, right? And sell it. Well, we have not taken the souls of small children and bottled them, let me assure you right now, okay? But we have the next best thing that we are going to share with you today. And you can see that, you know, people are saying my tired old self has been set to the curb. I'm loving the energy level I have, continues to get better and better. Again, more weight loss, and those two things often really go hand in hand together. So it's not just us. There's many, many instances of results. So I'm going to now reveal to you the 3 keys. So get your pens out. I know you've been waiting so patiently for 30 minutes for your 3 keys. So I'm going to give you your 3 keys now to triple your energy. And the first one of those is to cleanse your system or to detoxify it. All right. We're going to talk detail about each one of these. The second one, and this is the one almost every single person misses, and that is balancing your system to an alkaline state. We will talk about exactly what that means. And then your third key is building your body to a healthy state. Now, I like to think about this as remodeling. My husband is a contractor and he does remodeling, okay? So I use that as kind of a metaphor here. So here's where people make mistakes. They either go in with these fad diets, right? And they either like just detox their body, hoping to get more energy. But what's that doing? That's like stripping everything out of your kitchen and not putting anything back in there, right? You have nothing functional. Your body is the same way. Or they just throw a bunch of stuff on top, like trying to build up with healthy things without detoxing, right? That's like not demolitioning your kitchen, right? And just throwing your new cabinets on top of the old ones. That doesn't work. Balancing to an alkaline state is setting that foundation. That is the foundation to everything that we are doing. So each one of these keys is absolutely critical to improving your level of energy. And I am going to hand this back over to Trish now, who is going to talk to us about toxicity.
Let me unmute. So why are so many people lacking in energy? And I'll go back to, I talk to between 5 and 10 people from all over the country on a daily basis and consult them as a health coach. And they come to me and they're like, I have this and I have that and I have that and I have this. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Well, the common theme in every single conversation, no matter what they're presenting with, right? They could be high blood pressure, type 2 diabetes, or fatigue, or adrenal, or thyroid issues, or whatever, no sleep, whatever the issues are, the one common theme is they're all toxic, okay? And we have a huge problem in this country with toxic overload. And I've done a lot of research and study on this. The last thing that I found, it said that we come in contact with about 500 toxins on a daily basis, And you've got to think about that. That's toxins that we're breathing in. And I can tell you how many of you have gone to Orange Theory and been on the treadmill next to the girl that took a bath in her perfume. And I'm sitting there almost nauseous and I can't breathe because of the overwhelming chemicals that are going into me because I've got that high respiration rate. That's a form of picking up toxins right then and there. Or how about, going to the restaurant and what are they cleaning the tables with? What are they spraying on those tables to clean the tables? And then you're putting your hands on there, or your baby's eating the food off of there, right? Not to mention the food. We eat way too many processed food. We've got, our food is laden with pesticides and herbicides. So not only are we getting it in our environment, we're also consuming it. Okay, if you're eating processed food or non-organic food that has been sprayed with chemicals. So, and then the most toxins that we get are actually coming from pharmaceutical medications. You're getting chemicals in your body. I talked to a guy today. He was on one prescription medication for 20 years. I talked to somebody else today that they were on cholesterol medication for, I want to say 5 to 7 years. And their counts had actually come down, and they weren't even at the level that they needed to be on the cholesterol medication. I'm like, why are you taking that? So people just don't know. And so what happens when we have too many toxins and we're not detoxing on a daily basis and doing something to get them out of their body, is it leads to being sick. Okay. When you're toxic, you're going to be sick. And when you come in, and that toxin's not going to make you sick. What's going to make you sick is when you come in contact with a virus or a parasite or a bacteria, which we all are around all day long, right? But our immune system is so compromised because we have so many toxins in us, then we start to become sick frequently, over and over and over again. Oh my God, I got this cold. I just can't shake it, And then 3 weeks later, you get another cold. And, I got this cold again. It must be cold season. No. There's no cold season, okay? There's no flu season, okay? It just means a lot of people have very weakened immune systems. And that leads to taking these medicines. And these medicines, all they're doing, they're not getting to the root of the cause and nipping that root of the cause. They're just numbing the symptoms instead of healing, which leads, if you're just numbing systems, it leads to your other systems starting to fail, okay? And then we've got a huge problem. And it is very, very common for me to talk to someone on a daily basis that is on 6 to 10 medications, 6 to 10 pharmaceutical medications for whatever reason. Well, if that's never getting to the root of the cause, it's just a vicious cycle. Over and over again. I've got 2 medical providers on here that write prescriptions. Yes, nod your head. Yes, absolutely. That is the problem, which leads to a low quality of life, and ultimately it leads to death. But that is why people are lacking in energy, because they have this toxic overload. They have these pharmaceutical medications that are numbing them so they don't have any energy. Look at every single side effect look at almost every single side effect of a medication, a prescription medication, is exhaustion, is dizziness, tired, sleeplessness. Look at them all. So when you're mixing 6 to 10 of them, you think you're going to have any energy? Absolutely not. Now, if you continue to have that toxic overload in your body and you're not getting rid of it, it leads to every single kind of disease that we see out there. Look at on this chart, IBS, low testosterone. Toxins mess with your hormones. They're endocrine disruptors. So they start messing with your hormones. What your hormones, they're like your little messenger system of your body, your communicators. They're telling you, your systems, what to do and when to do. And so if they get sluggish, or if they get blocked, or if they get knocked off, your systems are not going to work correctly. So that's my job as a health coach, trying to explain these. Now, Dr. Mayo and Lori are going to go into a little bit more depth on to exactly how they're knocking your systems off. But just look at the numbers, guys. The numbers are outrageous. Anxiety disorders, 40 million. Look at the cost of cardiovascular disease and stroke, $315 billion. This is on an annual basis, guys. Annually. 15 million adults have coronary heart disease. 78 million adults have high blood pressure. And an estimated 20 million have diabetes. Now, those two, high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes, completely in your control. Totally in your control. You can make, and even the doctors will tell you, change your diet, increase your exercise, right? Change your diet, increase your exercise, get the weight off, and those will adjust. Chronic constipation. This is back in 2000, I found this number. 63 million people have chronic constipation. Lori's going to get into this later on your gut. Your gut is so important to get that right. Back to Darlene, balance, that balance part that people leave out, they totally leave out that balancing the gut out. Suicide rates increased by 25% in the US. Why do you think that is? Because maybe our hormones are off balance. Darlene will get more into that. Arthritis and hip and knee replacement. I'm seeing this all the time, younger and younger, in like 32-year-olds, not like 65-year-olds getting their hip replaced. I'm talking 32-year-olds getting their hip replaced. This is crazy, you guys. And let me just, I could spend an hour on the children. So before I said I owned a swim school, right? I service between 500 families a year, okay? A year. So I've been doing it for 17 years. So do the math, okay? I've dealt with a lot of families in Central Florida. So I have a good sampling of the population, right? Little demographics here, little sampling of the population. I have seen the children's health decline over the past 7 years at an enormous rate, I have children that present to me with sensory disorders, their development delay, like their developmental milestones. Like I used to say I'd start them at 6 months. Now I have to say I'll start them at 6, because babies used to crawl at 6 months, right? We used to have babies, the developmental used to be 6 months, the babies are crawling. So I used to have to say, okay, well, I can start your kid at 6 months to do swim lessons. Now I can't do that. Now I have to make sure that that child is actually mobile and crawling and has certain developmental. So I might get a kid that's not crawling until 8 or 9 months now, where it used to be 6 months. I have children that are 3 and 4-year-olds that are nonverbal. They're not speaking yet. They cannot, they don't communicate with their parents. I have children that have sensory disorders. So they react a certain way, and I can tell by their behavior that they have these issues. Premature births are out of control. I can't tell you how many preemies I see, when they come to me, they've been born at 32 weeks or at 34 weeks or at 28 weeks, and they have certain issues when they're premature. So our children we have a huge problem with our children. So that is one thing that is so incredible about this system we're about to teach you. You can teach it to your children. It's so important that you follow it and then you teach it to your children like we all have. So I think I'm going to kick it back over to Darlene now.
Okay, so thank you, Trish, for that. That was awesome. So I have a question for you guys, and I want you to put things in the comment box. I know Trish gave you a little bit of a preview, but I want you to tell me which systems in your body, which organs in your body you think are most likely to either drain your energy or to be responsible for your energy being built up or losing your energy. Is it your heart? Is it your lungs? Is it your skin? Is it your kidneys? Is it your liver? Is it your GI tract? Is it your brain? What is it? What do you think? Just put a comment and I want to see what you guys say here. So gut, okay, endocrine, all right, okay. All right, anything else? We have 3 votes for gut. We have 1 vote for endocrine, 4 votes for gut, and a vote for the brain. All okay. All right, adrenals. Okay. All right. All right. You guys are pretty smart. You've got a lot of them. Okay. Everybody has missed one though, which I find really interesting. So okay. So the 4 systems that are the most responsible for your energy drain or your energy building up are is your gut, your brain, your immune system, nobody got that, and your metabolism, which would include kind of endocrine and your adrenals. So you guys that wrote that are correct. Okay, thyroid is also in there. Your immune system actually is also responsible for your energy being drained. Think about that, right? When you guys are sick, when you're having allergies, you don't feel like doing anything, right? So it's really, really key. So here's what we're going to do today is we are going to talk about 2 of those systems in detail. Lori is going to talk to you about your gut, and I am going to talk to you about your brain. And here's what the way we are going to do it. We are going to detoxify your gut and your brain, and then we are going to balance your gut and your brain, and then we are going to build your gut and your brain. So I am going to give this back over to my colleague, Lori, and she is going to share with you how to detoxify your gut.
Thank you. Well, Trish did an awesome job talking about toxicity. We are very toxic. And what that does to our bodies, it makes us inflamed. Now, I worked in internal medicine, so inflammation tends to be the root of most disease processes. So when we are inflamed, things are out of whack. And when we're toxic, we're inflamed. And then we're more susceptible for disease. And our immune system is weak. We're just kind of reiterating the same thing, and then we get sick. Now, is it the sore throat? Is it the bellyache? Is it the headache? It doesn't really matter. It all goes back to we are toxic. So I'm going to reiterate a little bit of what Trish said because I find great value with it. As a society, we are sicker at younger ages. Diseases that have affected patients that are in their 60s are now affecting people in their 30s. That's a problem. It is not uncommon for people in their mid-30s to be started on blood pressure medicine or thyroid medicine or cholesterol medicine or diabetes medicine. And they're on more, like Trish said, they're on multiple prescriptions. I mean, it's crazy. So the worst thing is that we are seeing kids on prescription medicine now because they are getting diagnosed with adult diseases. So them being on these medicines at young ages is prescription medicines. It's very harsh. It's hard for them to grow properly. Lots of side effects with these medications that we don't know what the outcome is because no kids have ever been on them besides this generation. So it's a problem. So what about our gut is, the toxicity of our gut. The goal here is to promote good digestive health. So cleanse. Most people think of cleansing out their colon or running to the bathroom constantly. That's what a colon cleanse is, right? Well, no, that's not the type of cleanse you need because you'll get dehydrated and that's not the way to do it. What if you could cleanse out other organs as well? Not just spend the day on the toilet because that's not the right way to do it because you'll end up in the hospital dehydrated. That's not good. So all of our organs need to be cleansed. Our GI tract, our liver. We take a lot of medicines that are broken down by the liver or the kidneys. So the kidneys need to be detoxed and cleansed as well. The skin is the biggest organ of your body. Our lungs, our lymphatic system, and our brain. So we're going to talk about the gut. Just in our gut alone, we have 7 to 10 pounds of junk sitting there. Think about that. 7 to 10 pounds, not good. So if you were 7 to 10 pounds lighter, we'd all be a little happier, right? There are more people that are constipated out there than you realize. It is probably the number one complaint that I've heard in internal medicine and also in pain management, and I'll go into that later. I personally had IBS with constipation, alternating with diarrhea and abdominal pain. I thought that was normal. Everyone in my family had it, and I thought that was normal to not go to the bathroom except for a couple of times a week. That is not normal. I had 7 to 10 pounds of junk sitting in my gut. No wonder my stomach hurt. No wonder I had headaches. I had toxins in my body. You have to get it out. So like Trish said, constipation is one of the side effects of these medications as well. So it's a number one side effect. So how do we get cleaning out the gut? How do we start doing it? Well, you got to drink water, but you got to drink alkaline water. Males need 15 cups of water a day, and females need 11 cups of water a day. No one drinks that much water. I can guarantee you, no one on here does. Even Dr. Mayo said she drank and was still dehydrated. So we don't drink enough water. We don't consume enough insoluble fiber. We just don't. Not in our foods. We don't do it. Doesn't taste good, so we don't do it. And we don't consume enough omega-3s. Our bodies don't make omega-3s. You have to consume it. So there's also a gentle herbal cleanse that we recommend, and we will go into that in detail later, that would be beneficial, and it cleanses everything gently, all our organs. So the system is really for cleansing out everything, and we got to get it all out, get the junk out so we can start fresh. So that's basically the cleansing of the gut. So I'm going to have Dr. Mayo cleanse out the brain.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Lori. That was great. Yeah. I didn't even really think about it, but I used to have, all kinds of GI issues before I started using the system. And that's painful, man. In addition to driving your energy, it's just very painful. But so I'm going to talk to you about your brain. So these little guys here are free radicals. So they're breaking out of jail and they are wreaking havoc. So I kind of stole that from that insurance commercial. I can't remember what it is for, but anyway. So these free radicals, they're also called free oxidative species. And here, write down, you guys want to write again. You're getting the meat of this training right now in the next few minutes. So these guys steal things from our healthy brain cells, right? So they go and they pirate things that they are not supposed to have. It causes a lot of lethargy. If we can go to the next slide, you are going to see everything that is caused by toxins in the brain. These are bad things, guys. Dementia and memory loss, insomnia, one of the biggest culprits of toxins in the brain is insomnia. And here, this is where we start talking about the chicken and the egg a little bit, right? Because what I'm going to tell you in a minute is that sleep is our brain's natural way to detoxify, but toxins keep you from sleeping. So what in the world are you supposed to do? We're going to answer that question for you in a minute. But here you go. Migraine, headaches from toxins. I just did a Facebook Live in Trish's group the other day about migraines, and I know a lot of people were on that. You guys, a lot of people have migraine headaches. This is due to many, many things. Toxins in the brain are really one of them. Parkinson's disease, right? So when you have tremors, and here's something amazing, talking about kids that have neurological diseases that never had them before. So you don't really see children with Parkinson's, but here's what you do see. So my subspecialty in neurosurgery is deep brain stimulation. So I put electrodes in the brain of people that shake, right? So previously, 20, even maybe 10 years ago, you hardly ever saw a child with something called essential tremor, which is when you shake, when you try to write or you try to eat. Now, 5 out of every 100 children have essential tremor. It is insane. There's not even any research on what to do for these kids. So we are literally giving them adult therapy, medications, 5-year-olds, medicines for adults. I mean, it is absolutely crazy what toxins do to the brain. Here's another one, is depression and anxiety. A lot of that, you're going to see a recurring theme of sleep problems, headaches, and depression and anxiety throughout my part of the talk tonight, okay? But toxins are really highly contributing to that. So we can go on to the next slide. How do you cleanse your brain? So I just told you that your Sleep, when you sleep, your brain detoxifies itself, which is great news. So I'm going to give you some tips for that in just a minute. Antioxidants are another way that you can help to detoxify your brain. And we're going to talk about two of the most beneficial ones to help detoxify your brain. And so we'll go on to the tips that I can share with you about this. So here's what you want to do, first of all, to get more sleep. And we're going to go through lots of tips throughout this entire training, but you want to actually detoxify your mind so that you can then sleep and your brain will detoxify itself physically. Okay, that is how you get around this chicken and egg problem. All right, so here are some tricks that you can do to help to detoxify your mind. These are things you can do starting tonight, and I would strongly encourage you to do them. Stop watching the news before bed, okay? Do not, it should be illegal to have late news, okay? There should be no news after 6 p.m. at night, right? So do not do that. When you get stressed, and you get stressed from watching the news and hearing all the bad things that are going on in the world, if you are watching any news about politics, my mother does this, God love her, but she's on like Fox News Channel late at night, all upset in arms about what is going on in the world, right, of politics. Your body is releasing cortisol, a stress hormone, which produces free radicals in your brain. Produces toxins. Stress produces toxins in your brain. Not even mentioning what you're eating, what else you're doing, all the other things we've learned about how you get toxins in your brain. Don't get stressed before sleep. Write down everything you need to do the next day, at least 30 minutes before you go to bed. What happens? Why people don't go to sleep? They sit there and they're like, oh my God, I've got to do this. I've got to go to the grocery store. I've got to, do the laundry. I've got to take my kid to baseball. I've got to do this. If you write it down, your brain thinks that, oh, well, now I've taken care of it. And so it's not a problem anymore, right? So write it down, put it away, and you'll be better able to sleep. Here's another one for you. And there's a neurochemical reason for this. Turn off your cell phone before bed. And in particular, do not be on social media and do not play any games. What does that do? It releases dopamine in your brain when you see how many likes and shares and whatever you have of your Facebook post, right? These things make us feel good. This is why we get on social media a lot of time. But when you do that before bed and your dopamine is high, your melatonin that makes you sleep is low. So you don't want to do that. Put your cell phone away an hour before bed and don't look at it first thing in the morning too. And that'll also start your brain off a little bit better. So I will give you some more tips in a few minutes on that. But let me just briefly touch on antioxidants that are super helpful for the brain. So there's many, many antioxidants that you guys know about. Vitamin E and reishi mushroom are excellent to actually help you with a healthy, energized brain. You can get these from diet. You know that there are issues with a lot of the nutrients being depleted from the soil. So it is very hard to get what you need a lot of times from diet. So we do have supplements that we recommend in many cases for these. And then I think that is what I have for the brain. And so now we're going to go balance our gut. So back to Lori.
Hey, well, our diet is full of processed foods like sugar, refined carbs, and is very low in fresh fruits and vegetables. This is just part of the culprit. We are out of balance due to other things like stress, lack of sleep, and medication. Our microbiome, Trish, you can skip to that. Yeah, there we go. Our microbiome is being taxed. It is, what that is bacteria and fungi live in the nooks and crannies of our GI tract. And there's good and there's bad, and it has to be balanced. And what these do is they influence our metabolism. They influence our body weight. They give us a propensity for illness, and they affect our immune system. So why do we want this off? We want this balance, and it's our pH. We want it alkaline. You know, we're too acidic. You know, 1 round of antibiotics that we give for a simple ear infection kills the good flora in your gut. And this allows the bad flora to overgrow, and this compromises your immune system. And you get an overgrowth of Candida, which is what Trish said she had. You know, it is a constant fight to get this back down. It takes so much time for your gut to like rebalance out because of this. You know, there are medications that can control it, but you know, we're a vicious cycle. So if you could know that, I mean, I know you need antibiotics for certain things and they're necessary in life for certain issues, but what if your body was better balanced so you didn't have to deal with the side effects of the overgrowth of the yeast? You know, I mean, you can be on antibiotics without that if your pH is balanced. And then we have side effects of prescription medication. You know, we've kind of already touched about that, but most of every medication has a GI side effect, including nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. I always got that test question right on my boards because it's one of those. You'll always get it. And then, okay, for example, there's a good diabetic medication. I used to prescribe it a lot. It does great to keep diabetes well controlled, and you know, some of you might be on it. I'm not going to name it, but the side effect of this is diarrhea. Daily diarrhea, all day long diarrhea. So, you know, I've had patients who would rather not change their diet or wanting to correct their blood sugar and cut out the sugar, but they were just okay to live with the diarrhea. Well, what's that doing to your gut? Your gut flora is shot. You know, it's just kind of, it's frustrating from a medical provider that people don't want to help themselves. And, you know, I know these medicines are out there for people and they work, but you have to know what you're putting in your body. You can hear all the side effects that are listed on all the commercials nowadays. There's, you know, here's the drug, but then there's 45 seconds of bad that it does. All of those, and I guarantee you can find any GI complaint in there. Nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, constipation. You're going to hear one of those. So you just listen. And now, I'll tell you, I'm in pain management now, and they're making new medicines for side effects now. So in pain management, we prescribe opioids. You know, I try not to do that, but we do. But now there is a new diagnosis called opioid-induced constipation. So the people, the pharmaceutical reps come and market to me about this OIC, opioid-induced constipation. So it treats your constipation from the pain medicines. So that's not a good thing. You know, it's just, we are so off balance that now we're taking medicines to make us poop when we can't poop because the medicine made us constipated. I don't know. It's not a good system. It's easier to cleanse out natural way and balance out a natural way in my thought process. So do you guys eat pork? Then you might have parasites in your gut. Have you been diagnosed with a stomach ulcer? Then you might have an overgrowth of H. pylori, which is a bacteria that causes ulcers. Our gut is just out of balance. It's inflamed and it's more susceptible to disease. Again, inflammation is the root of disease processes. So what I would recommend is that you avoid acidic foods. Go online and see what foods are acidic and put more alkaline foods in your body. I would take probiotics if you're ever on antibiotics, just to kind of help balance out your gut so you don't get the microbiome off. And I would add omega-3s and obviously just eat better. Vegetables, fruits. So balance out your gut. I'm going to send it back to Dr. Mayo.
All right. Thank you, Lori. All right. So now we are going to balance our brain. But before we do, I want to tell you what an acidic brain does. And also, when we're talking about balance in the brain, we're talking about the brain chemicals being in balance, right? So maybe I'll start with that first, because you guys, you've heard about this, right? This is why there's all these medicines for depression and anxiety, right? It's because they tell you that your brain chemicals, your dopamine and your serotonin, are out of balance. And so all of these medicines are about ways to regulate those again, and also to help you sleep. But acidity in the brain is horrible. It causes terrible fatigue. It is one of the main causes of fatigue, is having an acid state in your brain. And this is all about your pH balance, right? There was a recent clinical study published in, I believe, the New England Journal of Medicine about acidity in the brain being linked with panic disorder. Okay? I mean, people that was all that was going on with them, was that they had an acid state in their body, and it was linked to panic disorder. Other psychiatric issues like bipolar, schizophrenia, brain fog. Who has brain fog? Who's ever had brain fog, right? That is probably due to acidity in your brain. And here's our favorite friend again, headache coming back to us. Again, that has a lot to do with your brain being in an acid state, okay? So this is what is going on. So let's talk about how to alkalinize your brain now. So you want to do two things. You want to make your brain more alkaline, and you want to balance out your neurotransmitters. So again, we're going to talk to you about some natural things that you can do. Oh, guess what? The cell phone holiday, it's back again, right? I know this is so hard to break, but it is a habit that if you can break it, especially right before bed, it will help to lower your cortisol levels and help to balance out your neurotransmitters. Here's a fun one. Whose mom sang to them before they went to bed when you were a kid? I know my mom did. Do you know why that is? It releases serotonin in your brain. Serotonin helps to make melatonin, which is your sleep hormone in your brain. So you can either sing yourself a song, or if you have somebody who can sing a song to you, that will help you to sleep at night. So there you go. Those are some tips you can try tonight. Food and drink. So here's what I'm going to tell you. You do not have to get rid of caffeine entirely. Not all caffeine is bad for you. The caffeine that you are used to getting in your normal coffee is acidic. That is not good for you. It dehydrates you, all right? You can switch your latte this week to an alkaline-based caffeine drink. Your energy will increase significantly. Acidic caffeine causes this peak and this crash, all right? Alkaline caffeine gives you a much steadier rate throughout the day, which is what you want. You are less likely to have that 3 p.m. crash, right? Who has had that? I used to have that all the time. Here's another tip for you, and I think I shared this in the group the other day, is to drink a cold glass of alkaline water first thing in the morning before you have anything else to drink. That is a great way. Your cells are dehydrated overnight. Your neurotransmitters get out of balance when you are dehydrated, right? But you need alkaline water. I told you, I used to drink so many glasses of water, and I didn't even know. Here's what I did to try and get more water in my system. I added salt to my water, because that's what I thought was the way that I should hydrate myself. Yes, as a doctor. Wasn't that brilliant before I started studying this, right? When all along, it was because the water I was drinking was acidic. Most water is acidic, okay? So there are ways to alkalinize your water. I told you we were going to give you things you could do at home. So here's what you can do. You can take a half teaspoon of baking soda, mix it in a gallon of water, and that will give you some alkaline water. I have tried this. This does not taste very good. We do have other recommendations for you that definitely taste a lot better, but alkaline water is so, so important. And then the last way that you can alkalinize your brain is through greens. Okay. So I think, yep. So we're back to Lori, and she's going to help us build our gut. So we're coming around the home stretch, guys. So you're doing great.
So as we've talked about, we are deficient in vitamins, minerals, nutrients, and elements. And we are very sluggish because of this. Our brain doesn't work right. Our gut doesn't work right. Our blood circulation doesn't work right. So all of these contribute to fatigue, anemia, and other disease processes. So our diet today, I don't know who said it, if it was Trish or Dr. Mayo, our diet today is not as nutrient rich as our grandparents' diet was. Even if you eat clean and organic or the right stuff or are vegan, you still aren't getting the correct nutrients that were in our grandparents' food. Most people take the convenient route, and we are all guilty of this because of life. You know, life happens. We either cut corners on our own health, or we have to make a change. So this system, you know, cleanse, balance, build, all of us have adopted it, and we have used it ourselves along with our families. And we are trying to get our families back on track. We have to build up our body back up with good nutrition so it can function properly. We've cleansed it out, we've balanced it out, now we have to build it back up with good nutrition. So, you know, I recommend a plant-based multivitamin. Add the greens, they're full of nutrients, omega-3s, you know, and just eat healthier and try to get rid of the acidic stuff. So that finishes building the gut.
All right. And now we are going to build our brain, okay? Because nobody wants a snail brain. I don't even know who came up with this picture, but I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. So anyway, we do not want that. When you do not build up your brain with proper nutrition or supplements, here's your problems. Again, memory loss. Every single slide I have talked about memory loss, depression, migraines. These are recurring themes that you see. And this is why, guys, if you do not do all three of these things, cleanse, balance, and build your system, you are at risk for these things, okay? That is why it is a system and it is so important. Slow thinking, neuropathy, how to, like when you have tingling in your hands or your feet, ADHD and autism are very significant when we do not build our brain properly. So we can go on to the next slide now. So here's what you want to do. So ways that you can naturally build your brain is to learn something new every single day. Just try something new. Whether you are successful or not, it actually doesn't matter. You're forming new connections in your brain, even as an adult. When I went through medical school, they told us your brain does not change after a certain age. Right? Like 12 is what they used to tell us. And this was when I was in medical school. Your brain can change until you're really, really old. All right. Do something new every day. Go to a new place or environment. Take a new way to work or something like that. Here's a fun one. Expand your creative skills every day, right? Come up with 20 uses for a sock. Just stretch your brain for it and you will build some new connections. All right. Here are some supplements that are super helpful. One is methylated B vitamins. Lori talked about this, right? So why do you need methylated B vitamins? You need them because a third of people cannot use B vitamins in their natural unmethylated form. It's very specific. Omega-3s. You have heard us both talk about this tonight. Here's what omega-3s do. They kind of supercharge your brain. They're the building block of a protein and a fat that helps your brain cells to talk to each other faster. If you want your brain to work more like a Ferrari, you need omega-3s. If you want it to work like a Model T Ford, then don't take omega-3s, okay? That is the simplest analogy that I can give you between those two things. And then the last thing that I want to share with you is another way to help you sleep. And again, this is where a lot of people miss this. combination of calcium, vitamin D, vitamin K, and magnesium. If you look at a lot of products that are out there, they've got 3 of these. They do not have all 4 in that combination, but all of these are required to help each other work optimally. Calcium, guess what? That helps to build melatonin to help you sleep. Okay, so those are some tips for you on how to build your brain. And I want to say one other thing here. Now, we've given you a ton of natural things that you can do with things that you have at home. You have also heard Lori and myself and Trish talk about some supplements. And I just want to take a quick few seconds and mention that. You can go and look on Amazon and go to GNC and look at labels and do the research and look at the reviews and the clinical studies and figure this out for yourself, okay? Or we have all done all of this for you already, okay? We have read all of these clinical studies. We have discovered a great system and we have recommendations for you. So if you are looking for any of these things that we have talked about, come and ask us and we will tell you the results of our research, which we've done that heavy lifting for you so you don't have to do it, okay? All right, so we can go on. And I think I'm going to turn that back over to Trish, and we're going to have a couple people jump on and just share a little bit more of their stories with you.
Unmute myself. Hey guys. Okay, so I am going to ask some people to, hold on, I'm sorry, I have that on silence and it's still coming through. I'm going to ask a couple people to come on and share their results with following this cleanse, balance, build system. So the first person I'm going to ask to unmute themselves and come on is Lori Rice. And actually, I think I'm going to go take it out of a screen share. Hold on, Lori, Cindy, Heather. Let me just get this. And Melissa. All right, let me unscreen share this. There we go. Okay, Lori Rice, can you come on and share with us, please? You have an amazing story.
Absolutely. Thank you. I'm excited to share our story because our family was introduced to this cleanse, balance, build system a few years ago when our then 8-year-old son got one of those adult diagnoses of Crohn's disease. So having that autoimmune situation with his GI tract was really scary for us as a family. And we knew we needed to start digging in and researching. And so we landed on this system of cleanse, balance, build to help our child not only gain a healthy way to eat and gain nutrients in his system, because of his Crohn's disease and the inflammation that was happening, he was unable to gain any nutrition when he ate food. It would just scrape through his body and exit, and he was in excruciating pain. The pharmaceutical regime that they put him on was very debilitating to him, and a lot of other facets where we saw neurological degeneration and he lost movement in his legs. There was a whole host of symptoms that we knew we needed to find a nutrition regime for him that would help with these symptoms and combat them. We had to get him growing again because he'd stopped growing for over a year. And when we landed on this cleanse, balance, build system, we began to see some really amazing results for him. He now is back into a regular growth pattern for a child his age at 11 years old. He is healthy, and this plan of cleanse, balance, and build helps him to cope with the symptoms of the Crohn's disease. He will have that disease. But it's time for our family, which is really exciting because we went on the same cleanse, balance, build regime for our entire family. I lost hot flashes, okay, like poof, out of my life within a matter of weeks on this system. They went away. It's unbelievable, but I was every 15 minutes in a meeting, suit coat on, suit coat off. I'm a healthcare administrator. I sit in a lot of meetings and people could see something was really happening with me. I was out of balance. And within a couple of weeks of being on this system, I was in balance again. and then began sleeping a lot better. That was a racing mind and a lot of things that would go on in their lives. This cleanse, balance, build regime helped with that as well. My husband experienced some really great outcomes too with this system, because he began to see joint pain was something that he struggled with. He'd had 2 previous knee surgeries. And when we began this cleanse, balance, build with him, he started not having the pain in his joints any longer. And so our family has seen a lot of amazing results by following this nutrition and these whole raw food supplement lifestyle of cleanse, balance, and build. So thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Lori. Next, I'm going to bring on Cindy Steele from Orlando, Florida. And I have personally worked with Cindy over the past, I think, almost 14 months on this system. So Cindy, if you could unmute yourself and share your story, and your results.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I am very grateful to be here tonight to be able to share my story. So my background, my health background includes being in and out of cancer clinics my entire 20s. And in my 30s, I started getting a lot better, and I really contribute that to the change that I made in my diet. But I was really struggling. In my 40s, I started getting sick again. And what I found was that I thought I was healthy, right? Because I was going to Vitamin World, going to Whole Foods. I was putting everything together myself. And it worked for a period of time. But when I started getting sick again, I was getting really sick fast. I was in and out of the hospital a lot. I had to have major surgery again. And so when I met Trish, it was literally 3 days after I had left the hospital for bleeding ulcers, another occurrence that I had. And I also had another tumor growth that had to be removed less than a year prior. So when I was introduced to this system, I grabbed onto it. I figured, what have I got to lose at this point? I'm getting older, my body's declining, no matter what I'm doing, it's not enough, right? So I embraced what she had to share with me. And I started on what I consider this is a very, very simple system of cleanse, balance, and build. And if I can do it, anybody can do it. But it has absolutely been amazing for me. I've been able to come off of prescription medications, some that I've been on for over 20 years, that I never thought I would get off of. And within 3 months of starting the system, my blood work was perfect. And guys, it had not been perfect in over 20 years. So I'm extremely thankful. I'm grateful. And I thank you for having me on tonight.
Thank you so much, Cindy. Thank you. You've come so far. I'm so excited. And next I have Heather and her husband, Heather Niece. If you can unmute yourself and jump on.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I'll go first. I'm her husband. My name's Brian. And Heather will talk about our kids, but I could go on and on about the benefits of cleansing, balancing, and building. In my life, we've been on this system for about almost a year, last April. And joint pain, migraines gone, but I want to focus on the one thing that for me has been life-changing. In college, over 20 years ago, I developed severe insomnia. And as a performing artist, a thinker, a writer, you would think, well, that's a good thing because you're up all hours of the night creating. But after 2 decades, it became debilitating. It would take hours to go to sleep. I would sleep for a couple hours. I would wake up for more hours. And if I could string together 4 hours of sleep in a night, that was a good night. And we began this mid-April of 2018. And after 2 weeks, I experienced my first 8-hour night of sleep in 20 years. And it's not a random thing. It is every night. And I have energy and am creating incredible things these days. And it's been amazing. And speaking of energy, she'll talk about our kids, but I have to brag on our 14-year-old who in his soccer game scored 7 goals on Sunday, which he's on this cleanse, balance, and build. And we credit that for his abilities and strength as well. Go ahead.
So I'm Heather. I've also been a PA for 22 years. And once I found the system of cleanse, balance, and build, I knew right away that it was the right thing. It's what I have been looking for years. We eat whole food, plant-based in our home. The kids get to choose what they eat when they leave the home, but in the home, we make healthy choices. And we have 3 children. 2 of them have lots of allergies, severe eczema, and asthma. And battling ER visits, doctor's visits, lots of medications, steroids, no fun thing. But once we started the system of Cleanse, Balance, and Build, the eczema and asthma have gone away. No flare-ups, no more doctor visits, no more ER visits. It's been absolutely amazing.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Thank you guys so much for sharing. I love to hear, my passion is the kids.
Thank
Darlene,
you.
I'm not sure if Doris is on. I'm going to text her. I'm going to skip to Melissa real quick and get and make sure that Doris is on. I know Melissa Urban is on. Melissa, if you can. Oh, you are. Hey, you are. There you are. Okay, Doris Stevenson. So, Doris,
I'm here. I can see you.
some of you, if you guys are on Lifestyle Wellness Group, you guys might recognize Doris from Sunday. She comes and does lives on our Spiritual Sunday. But she has an amazing story with following this system. So I wanted to bring her on tonight. So Doris, you're a health coach and a raw food chef up in Maryland. So Doris, share your story real quick.
So I met Trish a year ago, and she reached out to me through social media because we had the same name company. The thing was that I shared with her at the time, being a health coach, I was having my own health challenges, and they were bad. I had originally started my journey because I was diagnosed with lupus, and I had managed to get myself off of all medications. But since that time, in 2014, I had had a stroke. And after the stroke, it seemed like everything, my health just plummeted. And I was searching everywhere. I even went and got certified as an herbologist, and to take herbs and figure out what I could do to help myself so that I can help other people. So at the time that Trish reached out to me, I was in a mess. I was on medications. I was having vertigo spells, lupus flare-ups. I had the stroke, and so I had stroke symptoms. I had seizures. I was on a sleep app machine. I was a mess. And I was actually in my kitchen trying to put together all these herbs and things that I had been taking separately into a system. And lo and behold, she introduced this amazing Cleanse, Balance, and Build system to me. And the protocol was just everything that I needed to get my body back balanced and get my body functioning. So the first thing that I noticed was that the vertigo spells left. And then the pain, the nerve ending pain that I had began to disappear. And the next thing I know, I was in the gym at 5:30 in the morning. My skin was clear. People were looking at me like, no more passing out. I was passing out like on a regular basis. Everything made me dizzy. And so none of that, gone. It was amazing. Done. I didn't have to worry about going in my kitchen and putting all these herbs and things together anymore. Done.
Awesome.
This protocol is amazing. Cleanse, Balance, and Build.
Awesome. Thank you, Doris. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Melissa Urban, if you can unmute yours. Yep. Melissa is in New Jersey.
Yes, ma'am. I'm here.
You've been on this system for 4 years?
5 years. 5 years. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell us, and I know you struggled with a lot of GI issues before coming on to the system. So tell us all about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Trish, and everyone. This has been amazing. I was introduced to this 5 years ago, and I'm a perfect example of you don't know what you don't know. Growing up, living in a world of eating and drinking anything you wanted to, thinking you were healthy, and then realizing slowly that you're not, that your allergies you have are not normal, and your joint pain is not normal, and your low energy is not normal. And your mood certainly can be improved. And, the list goes on. But I lived with those things thinking that everybody did, and I thought I was healthy because I was on no prescription medications. So when this philosophy was introduced to me, I immediately resonated with it. I mean, I grew up where no one had peanut allergies, right? And now everybody's allergic to everything. And I watch my kids, I have 2 boys, they're now 17 and 21, but I watched them when they were younger, you know, have allergies and have symptoms and get sick all the time and have the flu and bronchitis and we're on antibiotics quite a lot. And I just thought there has to be a better way. And what really hit me is watching, you know, loved ones like my father and father-in-law both passed away of neurological diseases, ALS and Parkinson's. So listening to Dr. Mayo talk about the brain and understanding that gut-brain connection was huge. And then to be told I had leaky gut, which probably most of you on here have and don't realize. But really what stems from all of our issues and our inflammation and all the toxins that all these wonderful ladies have been talking about, our gut, you know, like 90% of what goes wrong with you, right, starts in your gut. So about a year ago, we took this philosophy, this cleanse, balance, build philosophy, even a little deeper into a full detox program that has been amazing, to introduce whole raw plant-based foods and some great supplements with this philosophy and a system in place and a guideline. And the results have been tremendous, teaching people a lifestyle change so they can sleep better and have less joint pain and increase their energy and their mood and maybe shed a few pounds. And the results are astounding. And actually, Trish, in January, I took about 40 people, and some did it for 7 days, some 14, some a full 28, but cumulatively lost about 330 pounds. And the results of their energy and their mood, and they're like, can this be real? Yes, your body has been craving this. You've just been so lacking and deficient, and you needed to get all those toxins out. And it's amazing what happens when you put the body back into balance. So we are really blessed and grateful to continue to share this philosophy on a regular basis and change the lives of thousands of people. So we hope you take a close look at it. If you're looking and learning for the first time, these ladies are amazing, the best of the best, and can definitely support you in your lifelong journey for whole health.
Thank you so much, Melissa.
You're welcome.
So appreciate it. So I'm going to kick it back. We are almost done, guys. I know you guys have been hanging on for a long time. We have a lot, but you guys, just a lot of information. And I mean, Darlene's going to come back on here, and we are going to get back into the slide presentation. Here we go, and give you some key takeaways and kind of summarize everything up. I know you guys are hanging on for the bonus videos at the end.
And we are almost there, guys. So you're doing great. So we wanted to just come back around and kind of do a summary of the biggest takeaways from today. The testimonies are just absolutely amazing. Thank you so much to everyone that shared. And this really has been transformative in so many ways. So key takeaways from today, just to summarize, this is a cleanse, a balance, and a build system, and you need all 3 of those. 1 or 2 of them in by themselves is not enough, okay? The 4 body systems that most affect our energy levels: your gut, your brain, your immune system, and your metabolism, which is a little bit broad, but essentially that. So this is the way that you can start today to increase your energy level, okay? With your gut, help to detoxify by adding in fiber and increasing your alkaline water intake, all right? We talked to you about how to do that. Add in probiotics to help balance out your pH, add in omega-3s and a multivitamin. For your brain, get some better sleep, detoxify your mind so your brain can detoxify itself, okay? And then switch your latte this week for an alkaline caffeine drink and watch the difference there. It's amazing. And again, I am going to emphasize the omega-3s because we want our brain working like Ferraris instead of Model Ts, all right? So those are your takeaways for today. Bonus is coming up in just a second, so we'll go to the next slide. Before we go to that, though, I just want to ask you guys a question. What are you going to do with your extra energy, right? You have to have a goal in mind, right? Because otherwise, why is anything worth doing? Are you going to climb a mountain? This is me in Peru. Are you going to take up sculpting? Are you going to travel more? Are you going to hang out with your friends? Is your house going to look like one of those on Pinterest? You know, what do you want, right? So figure that out. Let us know. Put it in the comments. What are you going to do when you have extra energy? Seriously, think about this, guys, and drop in the comments as we're going on to the next section, because we're going to talk about those. So I wanted to introduce to you our flagship program that we are starting, which is called Energy for Life. Now, why we have developed this, we have had many people, Trish, Lori, and I, reach out and ask questions about how to boost their health in many areas. The most common questions, interestingly enough, revolve around the nervous system, the GI tract, and the immune system and metabolism. So we wanted to put together a program that would help to meet everyone's needs. So we're going to share with you what we have. So Energy for Life right now, it is a 28-day challenge. Our goal is to teach you to manage your and your family's health. Here's what we have to offer you. We have 4 weekly Zoom/Facebook Live sessions, very similar to this, where Trish and Lori and I will be teaching you. Also, interactive question and answers, where you, if you have specific medical conditions that you are looking for how to apply Cleanse, Balance, and Build to, this is the time to do that, right? You are going to get a PDF after every session with key points, and you're going to get emails with our tips, much like you did in your Facebook Messenger group these last couple of days. Here's our curriculum. We're going to start with Cleanse, Balance, and Build for the gut. Who has issues with reflux, IBS, diverticulitis? We are going to talk about how to specifically cleanse, balance, and build for those. Week 2, we're going to talk about Cleanse, Balance, and Build for a healthy brain. If you have depression or anxiety, sleep problems, headaches, you have children with ADHD or autism. Week number 3, we're going to talk about the immune system. It's coming up on allergy season, folks, right? So cold and flu season, how to avoid those, right? And how to cleanse, balance, and build for this. And then we will wrap up this training on Cleanse, Balance, and Build for a healthy metabolism, weight management issues, diabetes, and building muscle, all right? So we have also several bonuses for you guys. So community is so important with these things. So we've created a secret Facebook group where you get support not only from the other members, but your 3 healthcare professionals are going to come in and help to answer your questions in that group. This is also a great place to find accountability partners. We are also going to have with each session another bonus in addition to the content that you know that you are going to get. We're going to pop in a little bit of a bonus session there. My favorite bonus that we're offering is this one. We are giving away 4 health coaching sessions during this 28 days. Okay, guys, this is incredible. This is very personalized service where you get one-on-one with either me, with Lori, or with Trish, right? And we're giving that away to the person who has the most engagement on the live sessions and in the Facebook group. This is invaluable for you and your family to help you deal with many of these chronic issues. And then our very last bonus, because we know that everybody is super busy and sometimes can't get on all the time, we are going to give you lifetime access to these trainings. So this is the flagship program that we are developing. When we before I get to that, let's talk about the goals for the challenge. So here's what you're going to get, because you need to know what you're going to get out of this, right? Come out of this with improved sleep. You're going to have more quality time with your family because you're going to have more energy, more time for your hobbies. You will be in better shape. There is nobody that has been through this Cleanse, Balance, Build system that is not in better shape. I mean, everybody's in better shape. It's just even if you're not trying, you get in better shape, okay? You will have better time management and you will have a healthier family. All right, so I just wanted to share with you what the value for this is. Okay, we looked at, you know, what my time is, what Lori's time is, what Trish's time is. The actual trainings, you're getting like $4,000 in value from that, right? The personalized health coaching sessions, you're getting $1,000 of value. The lifetime access, another $1,000 value. This course is valued at $6,000, right? Now, of course, we're not going to charge $6,000 for anything, right? So the course, when we launch it fully, is going to be $997. However, that is not what we're talking about right now, because this is a flagship course, right? So we thought about what is the most we can do for people here. We're going to give this to you for free. All right. So actually for $1, but pretty much for free. Okay. You can't even buy coffee for $1, I don't think, anymore. So we are looking for people to give us more stories like you heard tonight, like you have seen, like you want to share, right? So just for $1, come in, join the program, spend the 4 weeks with us. If you feel like you have gotten value at the end of the course, fine. You pay us the $297 is what we're asking for. If you go through the course and you say, well, this is dumb and I haven't learned anything and I haven't gotten any benefits, then it's nothing, okay? Totally free. Or if you feel like this is something that you're gonna get great value out of, you feel like you've learned a lot from today already, then we're making it $97. I mean, seriously, for 4 weeks of sessions, $97 for advanced purchase. We just wanna reward you for being proactive, okay? But yeah, have the option for totally free. So I don't know how you get better value than that. So why do you need the course? You've gotten so much out of today, right? So I hope that you have had amazing insights and revelations from today. But here's what we're going to do. We are going to teach you the secrets to cleanse, balance, and build for each of these conditions, right? If you have IBS, if you have reflux, if you have children with ADHD and autism, if you have allergies, diabetes, weight management issues, you are going to get specific personalized help for these things. All right. So now I think we are going to give you the sign up. So this is the sign up form, and we can maybe put that in the chat box also so that people will be able to access it. So you can sign up here if you want to go ahead and purchase it. If you want to try it for free, then you just email one of us or message one of us and we will send you the link for that, okay? Now I just want to go and tell you what your bonus is. We don't have to go back to the slide, that's okay. So your bonus is, so Lori and Trish and I have recorded our own personal techniques for how we increase our energy, and we are gonna send that to you guys. So here's all you have to do is type in the chat box right now, type bonus, type your email, and we are going to send you those videos so you get to see the secrets of the healthcare professionals and what we do to increase our energy. So we would love to take some questions now. So if you guys have questions, please either come, Trish, I'll let you kind of moderate this if you want to do it in the chat box or if you want to do it live. But
yeah, we've got some questions going back. Okay, so from Cheryl Jones, we've got wow, 5 out of 100 kids with tremors. Do you think this can be caused from the amount of kids on anxiety meds and ADHD drugs?
Yeah, so definitely the running theory right now is that the toxins are the main contributor to essential tremor in children. And as Trish mentioned, a lot of those come from the medicines that we take. And importantly, you know, these medicines, a lot of the times, even those for ADHD and autism, they really were not designed for children in mind. These are adult medicines that have been repurposed for children. So you can imagine, you know, I remember the one thing they nailed in my head in medical school, you know, kids are not little people, right? They're different, right? And so things have to be very specific for them. So yeah, I think that it's hard for me to tell you if those specific medicines may be contributing to it, but certainly when you think about what causes tremors in the brain and the side effects from toxins, yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, we've got a question. What about gaming? So I'm thinking that means gaming like playing video games. How is that? Like, because remember it said turn off the cell phone and stuff.
Yes.
What about?
Yeah. So, okay. So, dopamine is one of your happiness neurochemicals. It is also your reward neurochemical, right? So anytime that, like, this is one that's released in gamblers when they go to Las Vegas and they win, right? They get a dopamine rush. You get the same thing when you're playing a video game, right? Whether you're on your phone or you're on your PS4. And so that can cause, if you do that too much, you can actually get too much dopamine in your brain, which is bad. But it is especially bad right before bed because it lowers the amount of melatonin in your brain, which is what puts you to sleep at night. So I hope that answered that question.
Another question, is Lipton iced tea acidic or Starbucks just black or green tea acidic? Not a coffee drinker, but a huge tea drinker.
Yeah, so black tea is definitely acidic. Green tea is more alkaline. However, I will tell you actually when green tea leaves are ground up into matcha, that is actually even better for you than just drinking green tea. And that is a good source of alkaline-based caffeine.
Awesome. I'm scrolling through. I have seen some people raise their hand and ask how to purchase. I put in the link, it's a bit.ly link that ends in Energize Me Too. If you click on that link, that will take you straight to that order page, and that will get you enrolled into the program. I've got some bonuses. I've got a lot of people getting bonuses here.
Holy good. You guys are curious what we do, huh?
Yeah. Okay. So I just need to throw in there. So on the course that we do, so for several years, we have been figuring out certain regimens and certain protocols, like all the things that we mentioned, omega-3s, cleaning out your gut flora, balancing it out. Like during the course, you guys are going to get specific protocols and specific regimens that you can use in your family to help you deal with whatever the aversions are that are going on. For example, the eczema, for example, I mean, for years and years and years, we tried everything and nothing would resolve it, right? So when we found this system and we started, introducing the protocols, it started working and started clearing up. And it's amazing because little people don't realize that eczema really starts in your GI tract. If you can cleanse that and get that all, it presents on your skin. But it's really an issue in acne, and a lot of things that present in other areas start in other areas. So that's what we're going to be able to teach you in depth on this, and answer specific questions related to your family. The reason that we're doing this is because I would love to. I had 2 phone calls today, and I spent 45 minutes on the phone with people today, and we would love to be able to spend that time going through and coaching and finding out health histories. But oh my gosh, you guys, we just don't have enough hours in the day. So if we put a course together like this, we can actually teach and have more one-on-one attention on those specific. And this won't be the only course we put together. There'll be a lot in the future. I don't see any other questions. If you guys have any other questions, type them in now, or else we are gonna probably, how long do we have to pay the $97? It's a one-time purchase. The $97 is a one-time purchase for a 4-week course.
And I think maybe the question is, when does registration close for the course, Trish?
Yeah, so we are going to get this recording. We're going to host it and then have a link for it. So any of your friends if you guys have friends and you want the link, the so that you can share it with your friends and they need this information. You heard somebody go over something tonight, or you saw a testimony that you know that your friend needs to have this information. We will have that link on, just message, I'll put it in the lifestyle wellness group, or we'll message it to you the way we came in. Get in contact with us and we'll get that. And then that replay will be up for approximately a little over a week, until April 3rd, because the course is going to begin on the night of April 3rd. So you'll have until the night of April 3rd for people to get enrolled into the course. But I think,
Okay.
great phone. I think that's, what night will this be on? It will be on a Wednesday night.
Yep.
It will be every night, every Wednesday starting at, great, Harvey. Harvey, sign me up.
Awesome, Harvey. We can do
Awesome.
that.
Harvey, hospital administrator. He's ready to go. Yay, Harvey. So yes, in the link, go ahead and hit the button and sign up, and we will be happy to send you your videos. Thank you guys. We know this was a long, but we had a lot of information.
Yeah.
We hope you learned something tonight. That was our job.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a good night.
Have a great night.